Draya, and today I have a special casting guest. He's from Pune. He lives in Pune. But today he's the guest in my studio in the Osho of Mevlana. And yeah, we're gonna have an interview because I am very blessed to have him here in my studio because this man goes far
Yeah.
back in time when Osho was still alive. And yeah, I'm just because I'm interviewing people all over the world that are interesting for me, that are creating my path because to inspire me also, to inspire you. And that's why I was very happy that you say yes, I can. We can do this together. On the Also in this studio, I'll also tell on the 2nd of May, he is giving a workshop in Osho Mevlana. On the 3rd of May, I'm giving my workshop in Amsterdam also. I will put the information in the bio, so yeah, you can just read about it. And but for the 2nd of May, we love to have people that are really have felt the call for to be an Osho sannyasin, really Osho, and for the third, it's more like tantric people that really are, or some people are starting in spirituality. I take you along. I bring you back to the heart feeling because Hidraya means healing from the heart. So yeah, but back to the interview.
Good.
Can you introduce yourself so
Yeah.
people know who you are?
Yeah. I mean, my name is Krishna Prem, but of course, I was not born with that name. My name was Michael Mogul. And, like many of us around in our late 20s, we realized, my God, this lifetime isn't as great as I was told it was going to be. And I need to look into my own life. And this was all intuitive. It's not like I read a book and said, my God, you have to know who you are. I just had that burning feeling to discover myself. And I was fortunate enough to get a job in England as an American, and I worked there for a few years, and it helped to uh, begin to let go of my conditioning. England was very, very healthy for me. And in those days, the Indian kids had lifetime visas for India, and there was a flow between England and India, and I found it very intriguing the joy that people brought back from India to England. And one day, I had a couple of bucks in my pocket, and I had a girlfriend beside me, and we were both drunk because we had just come from a party. And I said, "Hey, I'm hungry." And we went to an Indian restaurant, and it was closed. And I said, "In that case, we're going to India." And when you're young and crazy, and I had enough money for a round trip ticket just for me, or two one-way tickets for the two of us. And there I am in India, in love, under a cashew tree, no money, making love.
So you went also back in the time you went by plane.
Yeah, I've been, I, I didn't have any money, so I came back overland.
Oh,
That's a whole,
you did the
yeah,
you did
yeah.
the hippie
I
trail.
did the hippie trail. I did
Amazing.
the hippie trail. In fact, the hippie trail was Goa, where I was.
Yeah.
And I read one book, Seeds of Revolutionary Thought by Acharya. I couldn't read the word Acharya, so I just read the book. And I had never even heard of meditation. I'd heard of getting drunk, I'd heard of getting stoned, but I had never heard of meditation as far as an active life experience. And I disappeared reading this book. I fell in love with this book, and I realized I am a meditator. And there's some great stories around it. In fact, at the end of this interview, he'll make a slash for my free book so you can read all about it. But it was amazing to get enlightened before I ever heard the word meditation. I got so happy reading this book. Now I'm in Mumbai and with my girlfriend, and this beautiful young girl sits with us, and she tries to pick me up right in front of my girlfriend. And my girlfriend got jealous, and the other girl got upset, and I didn't know who I was because, you know, I didn't know what was going on. And the girl said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not flirting with you. I want to tell you about my teacher, Osho."
Oh,
And my girlfriend came back and we decided let's go meet this guy because this is a magic moment. And I went to see Osho, and it was amazing. I
Because and Osho was in Pune at that moment, right?
No, no, he was before Pune. It was before the Rolls Royce. It was before 10,000 people. I was the only white boy there. There were 10 or 11 yoga teachers from New York and 100 Indians. He lived in one room in a rented Chevrolet. I was getting around with a bull and a cart, a bullock cart, because we were so in the middle of India, there was no, not even a rickshaw. So I'm whipping my bull, so to speak. And I parked my bull and my cart next to Osho's rented Chevrolet. I went in to see him because I was the only one there. And I immediately said, "My God, this is good." And I think what it is he had presence and I had absence. And I knew he had something, and I knew that I could have it too because even though I was absent, I could feel presence. And he was breathing into me, and it was great. And when I left him as Krishna Prem, can you believe it? I never even, quite a terrible name. I thought he was going to send me to the airport to sell books and things like that. I walked out, and when you're reborn in India, instead of uh, that's your birthday, and a girl gave me a book, and that book was Seeds of Revolutionary Thought, the very same book, only instead of Acharya, it was written by Osho. You follow what I mean? It was
Yeah,
his book, and for me, it was a magic moment. In one step, I was Michael, and the next step, I was Krishna.
yeah, wow.
And today, after 50 years, I don't give a shit what you call me. You can call me Michael. You can call me Krishna. As long as you say hello, that's what I care about.
Yeah.
And so I've come full circle. I came to Osho as an idiot, and I'm leaving him as an idiot. And but the difference is I have presence now, and I feel so good, and I love to share it with friends. I have a great line when I meet people. I give them my business card with my free book, by the way, and I say, I just wrote a book about you. And it's amazing how people say, thank you so much. And then they read my book. It's so cute because we are all one. That's what I teach. We are one. Uh, and that's true. You know, I hate to tell you that we're all one, and it absolutely is true. But from that oneness comes uniqueness. And if you don't breathe into uniqueness, you breathe into individuality and you think the life is a competition. So I don't, I do teach being in the world, but I teach remaining unique, remaining in love, remembering to share. So for me, when I breathe in, I take care of myself and I make sure I can afford the rent and a bite to eat. And when I breathe out, I say thank you to existence, because that's the two, you are in this world, but you are bigger than this world. This world is so small compared to who you are.
So I take you a little bit back because
Yeah,
you came into India. Osho was not yet in Pune.
yeah,
He was somewhere
yeah.
middle of
In
India.
his first international meditation resort, it was one room. He was in it. I
And
was in a tent.
and then you stayed with him, or when was the second time you saw him
Oh,
after it?
that's for me. This is something it's hard to explain, but the reason I knew Osho right away is we had something in common. I'm not talking about meditation now, but as two men, we had something in common, and sometimes that can repel you. And so the first thing I did was I went back to America, and I
Okay.
said I just met somebody that's great, and I was so alive. I don't even know how to explain it, and people were very attracted to me because I was alive. And then out of that aliveness, I would say, why don't you go and see Osho? And so I created with $1 a whole city based on meditation in California. It was unbelievably successful. And I don't know how I did it. People still today come to me and say, how did you do it? And I did it because I was in love. And you can't buy and sell love. It has to be real.
Yeah.
Has
True.
to be real.
Yeah.
So I had an amazing time, and then every year I would spend 3 months with Osho, and for sure his message to me was, "You're not staying here. I want you to go to California back. I want you to go back because it's working." And so what happens is sometimes when I don't know if you say Osho to another person, you're actually with Osho. So not a big deal, by the way. I mean, I just I'm in love still after all this time. I'm still in love. So
Yeah.
you
So
know,
actually, Osho sent you out to spread the
yeah,
word,
yeah,
spreading what I say always, what I feel when I'm talking about Osho. I feel I'm spreading the love, spreading
yeah,
the connection
yeah,
about, because what you're saying, I always say we are one. I really believe in the oneness, and that's what I'm doing, what I'm giving, what I'm putting out there. Like, people, come on,
yeah,
we have to connect with each
yeah,
other, and it
yeah,
doesn't matter about the age, it doesn't matter about where we were born. We are all from the source. We are all from the what we from. I believe in oneness.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, out of that oneness comes a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we're one existence right now, appearing as 300,000 Dutch friends. And so it can be humbling because unless you love existence, it's humbling to know that there's so many people judging you in every moment. I don't see judges now. I see friends that are pretending to be asleep. For me, everybody's enlightened, pretending to be asleep because when people feel enlightenment, they feel they have to do something. For me, meditation means to be something, you know, to be nothing actually. So I'm having fun. I don't have I don't know. Osho always you would remind me, please don't develop a spiritual ego on me. Don't that can be a trap.
That's good.
To meet Osho, you really just to even have read a book by Osho, you're actually bigger than the 7 billion people that are in the world right now. To me, for me to meet a master is to indicate that I can also be alive and in love and share, and that's who I am. I don't think it's a big deal anymore. It's who I
I
am.
that's also what, because what if I hear your words, and I think what's for me the biggest word that's coming up is awareness.
Oh, absolutely. I forgot about that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really, for me, I teach watching yourself.
Yeah.
The witness. And so love, serve, remember. You came here out of silence and you'll return to silence. And in between those two statements is a lot of noise. A lot of noise. To be Dutch is noisy. To be a man is noisy. To be a woman, maybe less noisy than a man, but still noisy. So you need to turn your noise into music. And without meditation, it's so difficult to hear the music in in the Bondo Park.
Yeah, because sometimes I can relate to that, because sometimes there's so much noise, there's so much going
Yeah,
on, and yeah, I'm always talking about the layers we put on each other,
beautiful.
and all the rules we put on each other. And last Saturday I was sitting at the fire, I was watching the fire, and I said, but we came here just to be, just to be pure, just to
Yeah,
be a very pure soul. And we just need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to feed our body, we need to we need to do physical things to keep our system healthy, eat healthy. But instead of doing that, we are making rules, we are making conditions, we make it each other so difficult,
yeah,
that especially in India, I don't know, I want to know your opinion about that one also. It's like in the West, it's like we are all doing what is expecting of us, but in the most of the times we are losing the connection with each other.
yeah,
What I miss in the West is really the hello brother, I see
yeah,
you, we are here, we are together, this is we are creating a world where we see each other, where we are creating beautiful things together. We are where we see nature, and where we see where we really are pure souls.
Yeah,
And because of the layers and because of the rules, we are destroying the connection, especially what I feel is with ourselves.
yeah, beautiful.
Because there's so much things that we put between. So it's like,
Yeah,
how can I go inside if so much people are putting so much things on me?
yeah. It's very simple. You know, basically, for me, this is Osho, and this is Krishna Prem. This is me. And what Osho said is, please don't talk to me from here. Blah 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 blah. I want Krishna Prem to let go of his parents. I want him to let go of his education. I want him to let go of his religion. I want him to be naked and vulnerable, in this space we call intuition or meditation. And then you come back up, then you can say, I love you, Osho, or I love you, Judy. In order to love, you have to let go. And because our parents were so afraid of that, they didn't teach us to let go. They just taught us a concept called love. And so many of us are marrying another person who has a concept called love. No, get naked, get vulnerable, and then see how you feel about your partner. And there's a very good chance if you're naked and vulnerable, your partner will hear you and begin to trust and also let go. Uh, for me, a relationship is just looking in the mirror, and hopefully you're looking in a mirror today that's worthwhile, that's willing to be alive with you. And it's scary and it's vulnerable, but the thing is, it works. It works. And that's what I teach, that taking a risk works more than listening to somebody else tell you what life is about.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
So
We're,
for being an inspiration and then spread the words, that's
yeah,
what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, be yourself, and then you'll meet people that are also want to be themselves. And it's a process. It's life is so fucking big compared to what we're taught. Life is so much bigger than your parents told you who you are. Your parents, bless their hearts, are unenlightened, they're scared, and they're going to teach you to be unenlightened and scared. And all meditation is become enlightened and forgive your parents, and forgive your conditioning, and still play in Amsterdam. But it's a different world once you learn to meditate, because you have more space for every single person that's alive. It's called compassion.
And did you also see the difference between, because you also lived there in
Yeah,
India for a while, the difference between the Western Europe, for me especially Western
yeah,
Europe and America, and when I compare this with India, it's like, for me,
yeah,
people have so much more warmth, and they're like, they know how to connect. They invite me to the table. They invite, come,
yeah,
you're my, we are. They still believe in this brothers and sisters concept, like,
yeah, yeah,
and it's so warm, and I sometimes I really feel we lost it in the West.
yeah, yeah. But it's lost and found. I actually don't give a shit where I am anymore. I love India and I love the West.
Yeah,
And sometimes India is humble because they gave up their ego too easily. And in the West, we need to humble people because they took their ego too seriously. So for me, it's just a game. It's just a game. So I look every day and every way. I look for me, and once I find me, I can share with you. And once you can see that I'm not here to eat you up and hurt you,
yeah.
then you begin to share with me, and it's pretty amazing. So I have great moments every day. But it is true that in the West, we protect ourselves so much that it's hard sometimes. I don't like when I meet you at Mevlana or meet you on the street, you know, you will feel better and I'll feel better, but a moment later, you might have to put on your clothing and go back to work, or put on your husband and go back to your wife. And, in other words, it takes a tremendous amount of courage, to be yourself instead of your conditioning. It's so much easier to believe your parents and to believe your priests and to believe your politicians. I actually am jealous of unconscious people sometimes, and I say they have such an easy life
We never
compared to
can
me.
go back.
You can't go back, and and you know the expression, we're peeling the layers of the onion. First, you take off being Dutch, then you take off being a man, then you take off being a Catholic, and you end up naked and vulnerable, and then you can put that clothing back on because sometimes I go to churches just to hear people sing, and
Yeah.
I don't listen. And I was just in the church, and I had my eyes closed. I was meditating, and the girl beside me said, "Are you sleeping?" In the West, we're so worried about people sleeping while they're at church. You know what I mean? I was had my eyes closed because people were singing for me. What a blessing! What a blessing! But it's a crazy lifetime. And I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be like you. I don't want you to quit work. I want you to watch yourself while you are working. And I teach little things that'll help you go to work without going mad. And so we do some madness techniques not to go mad, but to make this foolish, sane world more loving, more vulnerable.
Yeah, and I have one of my goals in life is creating a bridge between the East and the West.
Yeah, beautiful.
And you are, yeah, I hope you're here also in 20 years, but yeah, you're also
No, this body won't be here in 20 years, I can tell you that.
so I what can you give me and what can you give us, especially me also, like um what can you is there something what's coming into your mind,
Yeah,
what can you give me as a tool or some
yeah. It,
luggage with me that
yeah.
I can
Well, just what you said, for example, like I'm twice your age,
yeah.
and twice as vulnerable to death. But I know now, having lived with Osho, having lived in India, that my body is a temple, you
Yeah.
know, and uh, and the beauty of that is, uh, I want my temple to be clean. I want my temple to be healthy, but I am not my body, you know, and that's a big, big statement. So please don't take that too serious. But I've learned when my body dies, I still exist, and then uh, what to say. So what we learn in the West is to take care of bodies because it's who you are. What you learn in the East is to take care of your body because it's where you live and you want your home to be beautiful. So stop taking your body so seriously, and for sure, you are not your mind. So what I teach is first you're full of thought. You walk into my meditation space, just made $40 today to pay the rent, and so your mind is full, and also, believe it or not, your heart is full. It's full of your parents and your girlfriend and your high school football coach. You're so full. And then what I teach is letting go of the mind, dropping out of the heart and into your heart, into your belly, into your intuition. And then when the energy rises, your heart is empty. So I teach the empty heart. And when you rise up, I teach the empty mind, no mind. So over here, when you come into my room, you're full of thought. When you leave my room, the mind is empty. And then you have the two sides of life. And of course, you'll go to work tomorrow and the mind will come right back, but you may laugh because you know what it feels like to be silent. So meditation does not mean don't go to work. It means don't take it so seriously, and don't take your heart so seriously, and begin to trust yourself. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
it's all
it's a
here.
little
Who
bit
the hell
different
knows?
because I'm teaching from the heart, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to trust. You have to trust the hara. The
Yeah,
Japanese spot. And then for me, sexual energy.
yeah.
Once you come down, see,
Because I take it first. I take it from the head. I take it down. I took that to the heart, and then I take it
beautiful. Yeah,
and
that's right.
then
Yeah,
when the energy is there, I'm taking it up back to the heart.
right.
because when the energy is at the heart, that it's like it's an expression
Yeah,
of everything. It's like people
beautiful.
for the first time see themselves like, okay, if I am not letting it out, because some people, yeah, we are used to, okay, we need to release it, but instead of releasing it, taking it up to the heart, it's like it's completely full and it's completely like, wow, everything
Yeah,
is
beautiful,
possible, and it's
beautiful.
that's what I teach. So it's
Yeah, but
like
I mean that's it's even better than what I teach, man. But what I, see, for me, Kundalini energy or sexual energy
yeah,
is it's once you learn how to go down to come up takes some energy. So for me, that fire, that Kundalini energy, is helps you to rise up through the heart, and I actually believe more in no mind. For me, meditation means no mind. And from that space, you can meditate or you can make love. It doesn't make a difference.
no,
You
true.
can choose what's your passion, and you can go between the two. One day you no mind, the next day it's a woman. But it's really fun to trust. Once you learn
Yeah,
the art of letting go. But these are big thoughts, and they may not even be true. Maybe I should come to your house and, fight with your wife and pay the bills. I don't know. I'm just saying that I can't help you pay the bills, but I can help you enjoy work more by letting go. It's just a game. I teach how to enjoy the game instead of how to enjoy the work. And that's why I call it a meditation play shop instead of a workshop. I'm trying to get you to enjoy your life a little bit more.
yeah. Then that we both do that in our workshops.
Yeah, no,
It's
I love what you said because you are younger and more in that fire space.
yeah,
When you talk about the heart, for
yeah,
me, it's just a symphony now. It's no longer a rock song.
yeah.
So anyway, go to his workshop, come to my play shop.
Both.
Yeah, you can't miss. You
No.
can't miss.
So I'm yeah. I have so much, so many, so more, much more questions, but
Yeah,
for this
no,
interview, we're gonna end.
yeah,
And we are going. I'm already asked him to can I interview him when I'm in India,
absolutely.
uh, and
When
I
I'm in my room,
and I really hope he will stay alive for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm going
So,
to stay alive at least for your interview. After that, I'm
uh,
not. I'm not committing. Not committing to anything.
so yeah, that's because it's a very I'm very happy to
Yeah,
have
it
you
was
here.
very good, man.
It's-
I enjoyed also, man. You're great, and basically, I teach uh, to go to your play shop to work with you.
yeah,
I'm no longer in that fire space where life is so fucking exciting. I'm just teaching. Take your fucking clothes off, relax, and then put your clothes back on, and
yeah.
they'll feel better because they're a little bit looser.
Yeah, and also because nakedness, it's bringing directly people are more you are more vulnerable, but if you
Yeah,
are more vulnerable together, it's also way more easy to connect.
beautiful. Yeah, good. I have other things to do. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, come and see me. And
Yeah,
and under this will you get my books for free? I want you to read them.
yeah. I
Uh,
will put it in the bio. Subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Satya Midraya. Also, the website is there, and all our information will below. So, love you, and see you next
I
time.
love you more. Fun.